So today, I mean, it's really late. It's like nearly midnight, and I'm in like a car park. So if this goes off, I don't know what to do. I was gonna have to just kill my car's battery because I'll try and make this quick. But we all know how these go. But I thought today we should do something that's a really interesting topic, or at least it's an interesting topic to me. Anyone who knew me 2019 and before doesn't know me anymore, even if they still do, because I changed a lot. And yes, of course, everybody changes all the time. Every day we evolve and we grow and we whatever. And 2019 to 2023 is a pretty big jump. And it's a very monumental jump in terms of what part of the age gap you're doing. Like that was 17 to 20, which is again a huge gap. But I don't mean just that. I mean, bar my physical appearance, and even that has changed quite a lot too. Nothing about me is the same. To the point, and both are recent examples where people who have been friends with me for many years, like, you know, since we were very young, I've literally been told recently that I'm just not the same anymore. I'm not the bubbly Joe that they knew isn't there anymore. And I've equally been told that I actually hear people and I actually make people feel heard and seen. And I think both are true. I think I do struggle a little bit to be 20 now. And the question I want to ask you, or pretend to ask you because I'm going to answer it myself, not even rhetorical because I'm answering it, but why did I change so much to the point that I am talking to my phone on a tripod in my car against a fucking brick wall at like midnight on a Wednesday, or it's Thursday, or it's probably Friday now, isn't it? There you go. See what I mean? Right, let me just, okay. So the two questions are, why did I change so much? And what caused me to change? And I want to begin with that question by reading you what the definition of a paradox is, according to Google, because interestingly, it does actually relate back to the question. So Google says a definition of a paradox is a statement or proposition which, despite sound or apparently sound reasoning, leads to a conclusion that seems logically unacceptable or contradictory. Oh, I don't know the tribe. Oh, fuck it. My God. Right. So why did I bring that up? Because I changed so much because of a paradox. Not literally because of a paradox. If this paradox was only to affect one human being, it would be such a heavy and dense and just, I don't know how to explain it, just thick, and you are in the thick of it. It's kind of paradox that you wholeheartedly believe it is one. And what I'm talking about is logic versus emotion. So what was a paradox that I went through? Well, I had spent my whole life, one, being told, and two, believing that I was a good person, right? And then in October 2020, I was reflecting on who I'd been the last 10 months. Obviously 2020 was hard for everyone, and I was reflecting on who I'd been and how I'd acted and what I'd done in that time. And what I realized when I was thinking about it to myself, I was trying to find ways to justify it. But I had this, don't know why this thought came to me, but this thought has literally changed my whole life just because of the chain reaction it caused. But this thought just went, okay, what if there was a different person who did that same thing? What would your brain immediately categorize them as? And my brain said, bad person. So I emotionally knew and believed and understood I was a good person, and yet I logically understood that I had to be, at least in that exact moment, a bad person. This paradox of everything making sense, all my calculations up to this point, everything being coherent and logical and, I don't know, just easy to understand, correct. I arrived somewhere that nothing made sense, and it freaked me out. I remember my attendance in school was 97%, I think. That was the lowest it ever went for all the other years. And then for year 13, overall attendance was 33%. And yeah, of course, an absolute shit ton of that was how bad my mental health was. But that was a byproduct, or at least maybe my thinking was a byproduct of the mental health. I'm not sure, but one of them was a byproduct of the other. What do you do with yourself when you have spent your last, how old was I there? October 2020. I would have been like just turning 18. What do you do with yourself when the last 18 years of your life you have not only been told, but you have also believed you are a good person? And yet, when you reflect on your actions, if you were to give them actions to another person, you'd call that person bad, which means you have to call yourself bad. It was debilitating. I missed whole weeks of school because I just thought I'm evil, I'm this, I'm that. I was having some horrible thoughts. And then one day, I think it was October 30th, so that's 2 days after my birthday, I just had this urge to write a song about a prostitute. No idea why I wanted to write a song about a prostitute. Never met a prostitute, never, nothing. And it wasn't until 5 months later, in March 2021, that I finally started writing it. And the song was called Stranger in a Common Place, and it's still one of my favourite songs, but I don't know what to do with it. I don't know if I should post it or not, because, well, it's just, songs about me and life and me, a prostitute, and then me and life. It doesn't really make sense. I'd have to kind of make a whole concept album, which I have done too. It's called Ambitious Misses, but I'm getting off topic, right? I wanted to write a song about a prostitute, and then about a year and a half later, I finally understood why I wanted to write it. And the idea behind it was because I finally understood that I never wanted to be a bad person when I was one when I was really struggling mentally. I was really struggling mentally. My aim wasn't to be malicious. My aim was to stop sinking. My aim wasn't to thrive, it was to fucking survive. I wasn't actually thinking about how my actions or my fears or my articulations of worries or problems affected other people. Because to me, it was, this feels shit, I need to do something about this. Oh, if I say that, I might do something about it. That's as far as it went. It doesn't excuse the pain of the action, but it has to alter your perception of it. And then when I was thinking about prostitutes, or, very generalized, obviously, I mean the more stereotypical, the drugged up prostitute who hates the world and her life and her job, and her job's degrading, but she's just in the thick of it now and she can't do anything about it, that sort of thing, that sort of prostitute, that sort of stereotype. And I was thinking about drugs. And my dad's a policeman, so I've been brought up, you can understand what the stance I've been brought up with drugs. And I was thinking, well, my dad used to tell me that 97% of crimes that happen because of drugs. And I know you're probably thinking, well, that's absolute horseshit. And it probably is. But I understood what he meant by it. What he meant was that when you are you wouldn't just rob someone. You're way more likely to if you're in need of cash for drugs. That was kind of what he meant. He just phrased it a bit, blasé, whatever. But for the first time in my life, so this is when I'm 18, like just turned 18, for the first time in my life, I stopped joining dots that weren't there. And I just sat and I just thought. I didn't care about what I was thinking about. I just thought about fucking anything in the world. And I ended up thinking about prostitutes and prostitutes taking drugs. And I realised that they don't take drugs because they want to. Just like I didn't hurt people because I wanted to. They take drugs because they feel like that's their only fucking choice. And I only hurt people because I only wanted to try and help myself. And the byproduct was hurting other people. And it was this grand epiphany I had. My whole life I'd spent thinking there's good and there's bad, and there's fucking neither. There's just people, and there's good actions and there's bad actions. But the absolute second you believe a person's actions indicate their worth, we've lost. Because what does a prostitute who already feels wrong for being a prostitute do? They take drugs. And how do we react as a society? We think that they're wrong. So now that they're more wrong, well, they originally took the drugs to try and numb this overstimulation of how wrong they were. So if they're even more wrong now, they have to just do more. And it's just a horrible cycle. And the only way to break it was to finally look at someone who's hurting you and go, fuck, you must be struggling so much right now. And in that moment, I mean, I still had about 2 years of application to truly understand it, but in that exact moment, my entire life, my entire world shifted, because I realized how many more things have I believed that are wrong. And that was what led to this quest for truth. And then I started I started saying things, and then I'd like read a book on Nietzsche, and I'd go, holy fuck, I said that. Obviously, I'm not saying I'm Nietzsche, but you know what I mean. This whole, like, there's not good or bad, there's this is whatever, right? It was just so interesting to me. I realised that I was kind of just doing what philosophers do without even trying to, without even realising what it was. But the one other big thing that I finally realised from this thought quest was just how bad the education system is. And I still wasn't diagnosed with ADHD yet. I didn't get diagnosed with ADHD until January 2022. That's how long ago. How many months? 14 months ago. I've been on meds and I've been diagnosed. But that means for 19 years I wasn't diagnosed, and that means for my entire time at school I thought there was something a bit broken with me when I wasn't. I knew that I was insanely intelligent, but I wasn't intelligent in the way that the school wanted it. It just didn't interest me. Like, I am a massive geography nerd. I love geography. I can name like every country and all the capitals and all the flags and the rivers and the mountains, and I could do all that stupid, weird, little geeky shit. I can do all that easy. But geography bored me to tears. I want to change the world by how we see things, and I want someone who is the worst person on the planet to just sit down and have a chat with me, and I will not leave that room until I know that I have broken through and that they know that they can trust me, because the worst person in the world is just another way of saying that they are the most hurt person, the most broken person. Psychology, fucking hated it. So boring. Drama, my god, drama was so shit. It was so boring. And yet I spent, since I was 14, I've wanted to be an actor, and now that I'm doing this to Jersey stuff, obviously it's music more now, but I promise you, when I'm a little bit older, when I have a little bit more resources, I'm going full-fledged into 1, acting, 2, directing, and 3, screenwriting. I'm gonna do all 3. Not because I want to show that I can, but because I simply want to. How bad does an education system have to be if I love geography, psychology, and drama, and yet I hated all 3 lessons for A-level? It doesn't teach you what you think it does. And I'm writing an ebook on it right now. It's called Hunt for the Applause. I hope to get it out soon. That's why I'm so different now. Because I simply question things. That's it. Everything on the planet. Hope you've enjoyed. Have a nice night. Can't believe the lights stayed on. Fucking hell.